I'm here today with Graham Lancaster, who I was reflecting that I've known for many years, but probably haven't had the chance to have a conversation with. What I know about Graham is a lawyer. He's a board director. He's a fundraiser, a mentor, the most extraordinary networker I've ever seen in action. And I think probably most importantly, a husband and a father.
And soon to be a grandfather.
Oh, and soon to be a grandfather.
My daughter's being induced as we speak.
Oh my goodness. Well, by the time this goes to air, you'll be well and truly a grandfather. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Graham is also living with a life-limiting disease.
Yes, amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which is a form of motor neurone disease.
Wow. I'm Nicky Sloan. I'm the CEO of Community Industry Group. I'm coming to you today from the beautiful lands of the Dharawal people to bring you Community Matters, the podcast that explores issues that are important in the community with the people who are making a difference. And as I said, today I'm very honoured to be joined by Graham Lancaster. So Graham, I mentioned that although I've known you a long time, don't get much chance to talk to you, and it's because you're always surrounded by people. I think that you're such a part of this community. Can you tell us about the community and what it means to you?
Oh, community means everything, and connection with people is something that is core to my being. Let's just say I learned a long time ago that you can move from networking for the purpose of business to networking for the purpose of actually knowing people, helping people, and basically giving to people. And at some point, the community gives back to you.
In terms of your the community giving back to you, I know one of the things that you do so much is mentoring.
I figure that I'm 58 now, and there are things I've learned in my life. It would be a waste, especially if ALS does limit my time. It would be a waste if all of that knowledge was just gone. So I do want to pass it on. I think that a lot of what I have learned has helped me, and I'd like to think it can help others. So sitting down, I've found that if I start talking, there are things that I didn't even know that I knew that come out, and things that I've just built into my daily living activities. And then someone facing me goes, "Well, I didn't know that," or "I didn't realise you could do that." Well, go ahead. Take that knowledge. It's not diminished by the fact that I've shared it.
You've been really, I think, recognised for your contribution to community. You recently received the Medal of the Order of Australia.
Yes, I got the AM in 2022, which was a shock. I thought it was a scam email at first, and I didn't realise, because I was so busy, that it was an AM, not an OAM. And it wasn't until the ABC interviewed me and they said, "Oh, you've actually got an AM." And I went, "Let me read that email again." So, it was a surprise. My wife, Catherine, had been working in the background with Bill Dowson and a few other people. They all kept it a secret. And, I was awarded it, and I looked back and went, "Oh, I have done all that." So it's a privilege.
It is, but it just shows the value of what you've contributed to the community, because I've actually read the list of the things that you've done for community, and it is really extensive.
Yes. It is over 38 years, roughly. From the age of 19, I got into Apex. And in fact, I probably got my job as a lawyer because of the fact that I participated in Lions Youth of the Year Quest, Apex Public Speaking, and that set me apart from the others who were applying for the same law clerk role that I was. That got me a career in law, and I'm forever grateful for that because it's a career that served me well, and I hope that it served others well. And then from there on, people kept on coming to me and saying, can you do this? Can you take this role on? Can you help us with that? And that's probably how I got there. And I find that when you do help people, it's not a karmic bank or anything like that, but eventually people will help you.
Yeah.
I've been told by Janine Cullen particularly that I should learn to say no at times. And in part, the ALS has helped me to say no to a few things that I've been asked to do in the last 18 months. But by the same token, I've taken on another board position in that time, and I figured I have enough time to do it.
Yeah. So ALS, that must have been quite a shock.
Yes, I basically, as I showed you, my hand is a little bit withered around the thumb. That's a classic split hand symptom, and it was noticed by my acupuncturist, who suggested I go and get a nerve conduction study done. I did that, and I was also in line to get some operation on the neck because I thought it was going to be something up here. The neurosurgeon is the one who broke it to me. He conducted a couple of an MRI of the brain and of the brachial plexus, and then he said to me, I'm not going to operate on you. And I said, why? What is it? And he said, well, it's MND. I went, Justin Newbury had that. Okay. And I was pretty well shocked. He gave me a half hug, and then I went downstairs and went to an accountant's appointment with my wife, and that was when, and I do tear up at this, that was when I said to her, she said, what did the doctor say? And I said, he said it's MND. And I blurted it like he did. And then we did the accountant's appointment. She went home, looked it up, and she started to cry. I haven't seen her cry since.
Wow.
So that was me being in shock, telling her something bluntly that I don't know how I could have done it any better anyway.
Yeah.
And then I thought, all right, this is something I've got to do. I've got to challenge it. And I immediately focused on the fact that there are reversals out there.
Wow.
So they're rare.
Yeah.
And the doctors don't credit it. You know, they'll often say that if it's reversed, it was never MND in the first place. But there are people who have done it. And there's a doctor in America, Richard Bedlack, who has documented at least 46 cases.
Wow.
So my plan, straight after that, I researched one of the things over the years I've developed is the brain, and I just started researching the hell out of it. And supplementation, taking a number of vitamins, minerals, peptides, getting tested. So every blood test I could take, the muscle tests, the EMGs where they stick needles into your muscle to listen for it. I was happy to get as much data as I could. And as a result of all that, the estimate post-diagnosis is 2 to 5 years.
Right.
Lifespan. Currently, I've been told by the doctors that I am a slow progressor.
Excellent.
They don't say that I've done anything to slow the progression.
Right.
Because a patient doesn't have agency. A patient can't necessarily do things for themselves. But I'm confident that what I've been doing has slowed the progression.
I'm really interested in that idea that a patient doesn't have agency.
I've become cynical about the allopathic medicine industry that we have, and I've got a history of acting for doctors as a lawyer,
Right.
and seeing the structure of medical councils, of the colleges, of the rules that surround doctors. APRA is a regulatory body, and insurance. They are so governed tightly to do certain things. And for the most part, they treat the solution to every health condition as being a pharmaceutical. It's rare that you'll get a doctor who will prescribe, diet, exercise. They wouldn't even know what red light therapy is. And most of the time when you produce a schedule, as I have, I've got a protocol of supplements, they don't know what they are.
Yeah.
And I've sat down with one of my neurologists and said, I'm going to try coconut oil, because there's a story of a man who reversed ALS with massive amounts of coconut oil, which I haven't gotten to. But she said, well, what does coconut oil do? And I had to speak about ketones and, a ketone diet or a carnivore diet and how that might impact. And she was surprised. Happy to give me riluzole, though. And I am on a trial for a drug called Ambroxol to see if that helps. And last week I started intravenous infusions of radicava. That's a super antioxidant.
Right. So is that through the doctors or that through a...
Yes, that's through the doctors. It's only recently been put on the PBS in Australia.
Right.
We do it intravenously. So a nurse comes in, sets up a drip, finds one of my veins, which has been fun. So I've had probably 10 in each, or 5 in each arm. I've balanced it as best I can. And they put the medication in through an infusion. In Japan, where they've had this for well over 15 years, they actually have a pill.
Right.
And yet that pill is not approved in Australia.
But intravenous administration is approved.
Yeah.
Right.
So to me, that's the regulation of our health system getting in the way of getting outcomes. But having said that, the radicava, it's a bit of a Hail Mary, and the reason I'm doing it is because I'm doing all the supplementation underneath anyway. My doctors have not asked me to stop that, and they're happy to stack riluzole, Ambroxol and radicava anyway. So when I reverse this, we won't know what really caused it. But the Herbery lab is heading down a path. That's at the UOW.
Yes.
They're heading down a path where they're even suggesting that multi-factor therapies are going to be the way to go.
That is so interesting. I was going to bring up Justin Herbery and the amazing work that's being done at UOW. I mean, I know how connected you are with UOW, and we're so fortunate to have that amazing piece of work being done right here in our own community, are we not?
We are, and so that was the second thought. How can I raise funds for them?
Yes.
So, which I've been doing through giving talks, through fundraisers, and a little donation myself. So we've had the announcement this week that they've found a potential therapy that might reduce the accumulation of SOD1 proteins. I don't know.
Is that a protein in the brain?
It's a protein in the brain, and part of what causes ALS is that protein misfolds.
Mm-hmm.
And when it misfolds, it accumulates into clumps that basically block the synapses.
Yes.
And as the synapses are blocked in your upper motor neurons and your lower motor neurons, that connection dies, and then that leads to the muscle wasting.
Yeah.
So it presents as a muscle issue, but it's actually a brain disease.
I've spent many years studying dementia, did a degree in it just out of interest. So really aware of the impact of the amyloids and the plaques in the brain. And there's so much that we don't know yet about that. It's an area that we desperately need the focus on. So once again, the work of the Urberry Lab is amazing.
Yeah, so Justin had the genetic version of ALS, and it ran through his family, and that gene mutation that he had meant that as soon as he saw symptoms in himself, he knew what it was, and he retrained as a biochemist, so to speak. Probably got that wrong, but he retrained himself and started researching and started up the Urberry Lab. They've continued his legacy. He lasted 8 years from first symptoms to his passing, and that is encouraging to me, the fact that he lasted 8 years. Stephen Hawking is the most famous person with it. He lasted 55 years. And 55 years, divorced, remarried his nurse, had kids, all that. So, in many ways, I'm looking to a 12 to 20 year target for me.
Right, yeah, because 55 would put you well into the 113.
If my supplementation got me to 113, I'm going to go and spread the news.
Yes, absolutely.
Far and wide.
Absolutely. Similarly to the way Justin did his research, you've done a whole heap of research. You're marrying traditional medicine with
we'll call it alternative medicine, if you like.
Yeah. And I think, your reflections on the medical system is really interesting. And we're seeing changes already. We're seeing it in our sector, I think, in terms of social prescribing, that more and more doctors are now recognising that sometimes symptoms that people are having don't need medication. What they actually need is to be referred to getting out and doing something social. That often people are we live in a world that is increasingly lonely, and this is completely the opposite of your world, but increasingly lonely. And so doctors are prescribing people to go and join a social group, go and join a community group, go and volunteer.
Volunteering and being in the community is a purpose, and if you have that, it's a very positive mindset. Someone asked me at a recent talk, does a positive mindset impact on the disease? And I said, absolutely. It is one of those things where the way you think will govern every action in your day. And if you think positively and you are doing things, A, with a purpose, and B, for others, that is going to keep you healthy, keep you living, keep you happy.
I always look at you, and you're always in your element when you're surrounded by people. You're always the first person on the dance floor, and you've usually got the loudest shirt on, Graham. I think for myself, I always say I'm an introvert in an extrovert's job. I make myself go out and network. I make myself connect, but I need to recharge my battery. I need the quiet time. Do you need the quiet time? Because you don't seem to need the quiet time.
I do. So I take a Sabbath.
Okay.
And it's not a strict Sabbath. I'm not doing a religious Sabbath, but Saturdays is my rest day.
Right.
Also, I will rest. I get home at 7 and I'll shut off for the rest of the day from any work. But Saturdays, I try and confine it to doing things that I like to do. For the last 18 months, it's probably 15 months, I have spent a lot of Saturdays packing my Webster packs and researching.
Right.
And then I always aim for that Saturday afternoon nap. So, yeah, I do need that time to recharge. And then Sunday is the day to get up and start the new week with planning and activities. And it all depends on whether we've got a Hawks game on or not.
The Hawks are very important to you, as they were to Justin as well.
He was a player.
Yes.
Better than me, much. My social basketball skills were confined to a couple of hook shots and throwing the ball the distance of the court to the person down the other end.
That's pretty impressive.
So, yeah, no, the Hawks, basketball was one of those things at that time that I was depressed. And what I found was I actually wrote a poem based on Kipling's If about basketball, which I call Playing for Life. And I realised then that writing poetry is cathartic, it's enjoyable. So I started writing poems about basketball initially and about players and the team. And I've continued doing it in relation to other things, to the point that sometimes I'll just be sitting there watching the guitar and I'll start forming a poem about it. Or, looking at your shirt and lemons, is it?
Yes, lemons.
Lemons.
When life gives you.
Yes, lemons. That was something that was related to the Hawks initially. And then I found that a friend of mine bought me a helmet and came back from Bali and said, "Here's a gift." And I said, "Well, what am I going to do with this?" "Thank you." And then I realised that it was red and black. So I took that helmet, and this is the 4th iteration. I took that helmet and wore it to a Hawks game.
Yes, for those of you who are listening on the podcast and haven't seen, the most magnificent red and black helmet with black horns sticking out each side. You would not miss someone wearing this helmet. I might even pop a photo of the helmet in the show notes so that anybody can see it. It is quite magnificent. In fact, we'll get Graham to put the helmet on and we'll get a photo of Graham in the helmet.
By all means. And look, this unlocked a persona within me that was even louder than my shirts. And I found that I was able to cheer from the stands wearing this. The crowd would join in. So again, it's that connection. And I've now become known as the guy with the horns. So that became a pleasurable cage. I tried not wearing it, and it was, "Where's your helmet?" I tried wearing a Superman cap instead and gave that to Larry Davidson because it didn't make the grade according to the crowd. And, I now wear the helmet proudly. And if I don't wear it, people are going to get worried.
Yeah.
So ESPN has used it for some of their ads. And Disney did a documentary on last year's NBL season, and it managed to make an appearance in there a couple of times.
Oh.
The thing that I regret is I haven't found a way to monetize it. I haven't licensed it. The royalties aren't flowing in. Other than from the community, the love, the connection, the smiles on people's faces.
Maybe there's a fundraising opportunity for the Yerbury lab in reproducing this helmet.
Well,
Would be very expensive.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but we do have something coming up with the Hawks and the Illawarra Mercury in raising funds at a basketball game coming up. I may have spilled the beans a little bit, but that's all I'll say.
Okay, we'll all keep our eyes and ears open for that one. I know that when I heard about your diagnosis, I think, like everybody, you just feel shocked and a bit useless. Reaching out and saying, if there's anything I can do, always seems to me to be really kind of a bit tokenistic. But what we can do is donate to the Yerbury Lab, and that's what I did.
Thank you for that, and that is one thing. When people say to me, what can I do? I say, put me in your will, and then if I outlive you, I get some benefit. And enough. So I turned it into a bit of a game as to who will outlive each other. Yes, you get this prediction of a death sentence, but fundamentally everyone has a death sentence. Yeah. You could step off the curb in front of the bus and be gone in an instant. To some degree, being told that there's a finite period on my life doesn't disturb me as much as you might think it would. Mm-hmm. It's actually given me a greater purpose.
Yeah, nice. So
my purpose is to educate people about the disease, to raise the awareness, to raise some funds. The experimentation I'm doing with my own body hopefully will give some clues to the researchers and the doctors out there. I think we are now living in an age where you can't hold back information anymore. And certainly if you try and regulate the flow of information, which the legal system does, the medical system does, we try to be gatekeepers of that knowledge, but it all comes out through technology now. And no matter what warnings are given about misinformation and disinformation, people will be able to see for themselves what is good and what is bad. So, my plan is if I can learn something from this process and then pass that on, job done.
Mm. And so you're documenting all that you're doing for posterity?
I've documented my protocol. I've started a little diary with the Radicava because I want to see if the Radicava is impacting me at all, but impacting me positively or negatively. It's not a double-blind test though, so it's only anecdotal, and therefore the information may not be as valuable or may be decried as being limited by those who profess to do the studies. But it's something, and you never know where a eureka moment may lead. Most of our great discoveries occurred by accident, and I'd like to think that I can help in some way. If we're going to fight MND, we do it through negotiation, and we do it day by day. So rather than fight the beast, I'd like to dance with the beast and wear it out.
Oh, that's your lawyer and mediator there talking.
It is.
I think it's interesting that you reflect on it giving you purpose, and I think it makes me think that often we all think about something we want to do and we'll do it later. I guess we should. Later is now, I guess.
Later is always now.
Yeah.
I've always lived according to the poem "If" by Rudyard Kipling. I'm not going to recite that because it's quite long and I get it out of order, but the final stanza is, "If you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run. Then yours is the earth and everything that's in it. And which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Now that was crafted as advice to a putative son.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's offended some people because it's gender-based at the end, but I always take that to mean advice to a person.
Yes, yes.
I'm not going to muck around with the rhyme and the rhythm of it because to me it's sage advice delivered well. And so I try and live every moment as though it's the last. That's a Nickelback song, by the way. But live every moment as though it's your last, and make sure that you are squeezing that juice out of life. If I can do, and people say men can't multitask, but if I can do 2 or 3 things at once, yes, I will not do everything perfectly, but if I'm watching something that I don't need to take in,
Mm-hmm.
that's something I can do at that point. Most of my research into ALS has happened with me walking around the house with an iPad in my hand. I can vacuum while listening to research, listening to podcasts about ALS. So fundamentally, though, enjoy your life now. Make that time for others. We aren't meant to be alone. Again, John Donne, no man is an island. So we are here, for my mind, to do things in this world with others, to connect with others, to give to others. If we do that, we find that others give back. There is a reciprocity. I fully believe in the golden rule, to treat others as you would be treated yourself. And if more people live that way, I think we would have a far better world than we do today. If people did that on social media particularly, we would not have the psychological harm that is developing in our world.
Yeah.
And if I can contribute against that, if I can contribute positive psychological benefit to people, that's what I like to do.
Well, Graham, I can completely see why I can never get close enough to you to have a conversation, because there's no wonder you're always surrounded by other people.
And I might say a few crude jokes from time to time, and making people laugh is essential too.
Yes, absolutely. I completely concur. Is there anything that you would really love to say that you haven't had the opportunity to say today?
Let me say this. Coming back to family, it's been one of the things that has gotten me through life, and it's been one of those purposes, having a loving family, making sure that they are supported along the way, not so supported that they don't grow and develop themselves. I'm looking forward to the birth of our grandson. We've been trying to guess his name, but no luck on that score as yet. That is something else that will give me purpose going forward. I can't pass gently to ALS and leave a grandson and further grandchildren that haven't had something from me, whether it be photos, poems, this interview, then that would be great. But even better would be if I'm there for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So this podcast is called Community Matters. Can you tell us about someone in the community that matters to you?
Oh, there
You'll
are
struggle, I know.
literally so many. And again, that is one of the things, the network of people that you meet in doing what you do. You just find champions all around and people who inspire you. Two that spring readily to mind are Bill Dowson and Susan Wallace. And Bill is, he's a dirt poor Pommy that came to this country begrudgingly, if you ask him. And he has built a career here and a career where he has helped others. Again, fellow Apexian originally. He's an OAM. He has championed other people to be awarded and recognised for their service, including myself. And Susan Wallace, she just gets out there in the community with her work in the disability sector, her personal life with Grace. She's just a loving and giving person. And both of those people bring light wherever they go. So I could nominate them. And unfortunately, I probably then can't start nominating other people because I'll be here for hours.
Yeah, I think you've come up with two absolute champions of this community. And Susan Wallace was one of the finalists in the Social Justice Champion Award this year at our Community Sector Awards. And I just have encouraged her nominator to nominate her again. She is an absolute champion in this community.
She is.
So thank you so much, Graham. That has just been the most interesting and heartfelt and wonderful opportunity. All I had to do to get you one-on-one for a conversation was to set up a number of cameras and a complicated system of podcasts.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Thank you all for tuning in to this episode of Community Matters. Please like, review, share, and tune in next time for more Community Matters, where we explore issues important in our community with people who are making a difference.